So are you guys a fan of fragrance cologne houses? Because if you are a fan of them, I'm gonna be talking about a new fragrance cologne house in today's video, so stay tuned. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel if you're a return subscriber. Glad to have you here. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, please hit that subscribe button down below. Be sure to hit that notification bell. Also be sure to follow my fragrance Instagram page. But as you guys can all tell by the intro, that is correct. We're talking about a new fragrance house that I'm so excited to bring to your attention if you haven't heard of them already. And that fragrance house we're speaking about is Arome Fragrances. Now I am so excited to bring this to you guys because this is a solid house, at least from the two fragrances that I've tested so far. But I do want to shout out Arome Fragrances for reaching out to me and ask me if they can send me a couple of their fragrances to pretty much do a video and bring it to your guys' attention. I said absolutely, because as you guys don't know, I am a huge fan of the fragrance cologne houses, as you can tell behind me. I just love seeing how they compare to the originals, seeing what they can come up with, and it just blows my mind sometimes how close they usually are to the originals. So in today's video, I do have two from Arome Fragrances. The first one I have is Dark Honey, which is a clone of by Kilian's Back to Black. And the other one I have is Arome's Light Ambergris, which is a clone of Le Labo's Another 13. So let's talk about both of these fragrances now. So the first one we're talking about is Dark Honey by Arome Fragrances. Now, I do want to mention I'm not very familiar with Back to Black by Kilian. I think I smelled it a long time ago, but I don't really remember. So I'm just going to go based on the quality of this fragrance and how it smells to me just as a fragrance of itself. So let's go ahead and spray this one and check out the atomizer on these guys here. Look at that, very solid, shoots nice and straight, and it gets the job done. It sprays a lot of mist. So let's go ahead and smell this one. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the top note of this fragrance is to die for. It's so good and it's so powerful. I can smell it in there already from that one spray. Wow. If you guys love the note of honey, absolutely get this fragrance. Opens up with a nice natural burst of honey, guys. Alongside the honey, I get a nice masculine tobacco note, which is probably why it's called Dark Honey, because it is like a dark honey fragrance with the tobacco. I also get a nice berry. I think I'm getting cherries in here. It kind of reminds me of the cherry I find in Lost Cherry, like a nice sour, red, almost boozy cherry in this fragrance. So good. Now, I do want to mention all Arome fragrances retail for $45. So that is a bargain, especially at this quality of juice that you're going to be receiving from it. Because I believe by Kilian's Back to Black retails for $240. So you're gonna be saving around $200 if you love that fragrance and you purchase this instead. That's a $200 saving. And let me tell you, I'm obviously not familiar with Back to Black, like I said, but I can only imagine if this smells like this, guys, what Back to Black would smell like, because this is astounding. Very solid. Now, I did wear, this was my scent of the day yesterday. I wore it throughout the whole day, and this thing does develop very nicely. It does go through a couple of stages. So in the top, like I said, you're gonna get this beautiful honey note. Very natural to my nose at least. And I love honey. Now, one of my subscribers actually mentioned to me when I talked about the note of honey, the fragrance Back to Black, which is kind of weird because she actually sent me Back to Black. She asked me which fragrances I wanted. I just told her to send me whatever she thinks will be best. And she sent me this one, and I was actually curious on how Back to Black smells just because my subscribers mentioned it. And yeah, this is a honey bomb, guys. Absolute honey bomb. By far, this got to be probably the best honey fragrance I've smelled. At least the Arome fragrances. Very good. And alongside that nice tobacco, it's almost like a pipe tobacco note I'm getting in here with the boozy, sour cherry. So good. I'm also getting, I believe, almost like a raspberry accord in here as well. Very good. But it does change. So that nice, beautiful honey opening, it does last actually a long time. I was actually blown away by the performance of this one in particular, guys. It just kept projecting and projecting. And what's weird is I didn't actually go nose blind to it either. Even the people that were around me, they smelled it the whole entire time and didn't go nose blind to it, which is pretty good because I usually go nose blind to fragrances very, very quick and just get whiffs throughout the day of it. But this one, I just smelled it pretty much consistently the whole entire wearing of it. Solid 8+ hours of longevity with this one. Even more, probably 10+ to be honest with you. Very dense, and this is, I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is a eau de parfum, and they all do come in one size, which is 50 mils for the $45. And like I said, Back to Black also only comes in 50 mils and it costs $240, so $200 savings with that. So yeah, very concentrated juice, but it does change probably within like 3-4 hours or so. It does turn into like pretty powdery, at least on my skin. I believe that's coming from like almonds and vanilla, tonka bean, which as it dries down, yeah, it turns pretty powdery with that. Kind of creamy powdery, which I enjoy. Nice, also has like an amber kind of dry down, which pretty much makes it last as long as it does, because you know amber is a great longevity note that boosts the longevity at least. Just solid fragrance, guys. This smell on this one alone makes me want to actually explore more from the Arome fragrances. Because they do actually, I looked at their website, they do have probably like 20+ fragrances or so. They do have quite a bit on there. I'm gonna leave their link down below, so definitely check them out. Definitely worth checking out 100%. But yeah, that's Dark Honey by Arome fragrances. Very solid fragrance that's gonna work perfect in the fall when I wanna reach for like a honey dominant note fragrance. I'm definitely gonna be pulling this one for the fall time. Fantastic. All right, so talking about the next one, which is of course Light Ambergris, which is another 13 by Le Labo. I believe another 13 is one of their most popular fragrances, if I'm not mistaken. I have never smelled another 13, don't have any idea what it really smells like. All I heard was good things about it. So let's go ahead and spray Light Ambergris. And like I said, I'm just gonna be judging this by the quality of the juice and the scent profile of this fragrance. So let's take a look at that good atomizer again. Very solid, does the job. Now put that away. So Light Ambergris, what I get from this is a bunch of, it's almost like salty from the ambergris. I don't know if it's obviously real ambergris. It's probably ambroxan, kind of like ambroxan you find in like Dior Sauvage and stuff like that, which is a molecule-based note, which does last a very, very long time. That's a benefit of amber, or ambroxan at least, which is, it's actually a synthetic note to resemble ambergris, which I pick up a lot in here. I also pick up on Isoe Super as well, which is a synthetic note, molecule at least. And I'm honestly a huge fan of Isoe Super. How it comes across to me is very modern, very woody, kind of masculine as well. I believe both of these are probably unisex. I think Dark Honey is a little bit more masculine, unless you're a female and you just love the note of honey, but it does lean a little bit more masculine because of the tobacco note. This one here is definitely a little bit more unisex. Now, I do actually love this one as well. I probably, if I had to pick one of them, I do prefer the Dark Honey, just for me at least, because honey is probably my top 5 favorite notes of all time. But this one here is very solid. Very solid. It kind of comes across very like transparent, very airy, almost like Baccarat Rouge. Not the scent profile of Baccarat Rouge, just how it comes across. That's very transparent. And what's weird about it is those kind of fragrances, they actually project a lot, surprisingly. Like Baccarat Rouge, at least, very transparent fragrance. This one is also very transparent. And it isn't very like much complex. It is kind of linear as far as like the top, middle, and base notes goes. The ambroxan, the ambergris, it does last quite a long time, actually. Pretty much the length of the fragrance. It doesn't change much. It doesn't change much. I was gonna say much because there's a ton of white musk in this fragrance as well. Yeah, it's just the Isoe Super, the ambroxan, and the musk in this fragrance that keeps it alive, guys. This is also an 8+ hour longevity for this fragrance. Not as long as Dark Honey. That one just is a beast in and of itself. This one does last a very long time. I'm also picking up on some kind of pear note in here as well. It's not very dominant at all in this fragrance. It's more of like a backbone to it. As it kind of dries down, you pick up on like a pear note in here. But yeah, very good fragrance. If you love musk dominant fragrances, or ambroxan fragrances, or isoe super, just like more molecule based fragrances, it almost kind of like I don't know if you guys are familiar with Juliette Has Again Not a Perfume. That one is also like a transparent fragrance. You can't really detect yourself, but people around you smell. It's almost like that. If I had to put it in like a fragrance category, I put it as far as like Bac de Rouge and Not a Perfume, things that are like molecule based fragrances. I know Bac de Rouge isn't really a molecule based fragrance, but just the way it comes across to me. Yeah, solid release. I'm actually kind of curious to try another 13. I actually want to explore the House of Le Labo a lot more, but after smelling this one, I'm pretty intrigued by the scent profile of it. Very unique and just very well done. Honestly surprised. I've tried a lot of cologne houses in my day, and this is pretty much top of the top when it comes to those. So definitely try the House of Arome fragrances. Thank you again for sending these out. These are incredible, and I cannot wait to wear these more in the future. But that's gonna wrap up my overview of these two fragrances and the fragrance house of Arome. Definitely check them out. Like I said, I'll leave the link right down below. Give them a look and see if any of their fragrances pique your interest. Probably well worth it, at least these two are. But that's gonna wrap it up. Leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch all you guys in the next fragrance upload. Take care, everybody.